We're live, so welcome to an informal Tomb of Annihilation Q&A review thing. So first of all, it is open. It's also Q&A about us and the characters and the campaign and things. So I guess, spoilers. If you haven't played Tomb of Annihilation or don't want the story spoiled, look away, because this is going to be probably pretty heavily spoiler-filled.
Yeah.
A couple of points is we have a giveaway, which I didn't update the chat command for.
But we do. There's a series.
A new giveaway. For all of these Polyhero Wizard dice. There are 4 sets, 2 sets of Shadow, 2 sets of Wizard Stone. Each set also comes with the level up Wizard Hat. The giveaway just went live today as of 11 a.m. and that is in celebration of Polyhero's Rogue dice set, which just went live on Kickstarter. In less than 5 hours, was already funded the $50,000 required to make the run go.
Wow.
So they still have 16 days left, and all we're doing now is unlocking additional colorations for stretch goals.
Nice.
You can actually go and vote for one of the 2 colors. There's like a blood kind of one, like a bloody dagger one, and then I think like a purple one, like a purple
Shadow one.
There is a shadow one. There's 2 the 2 base was like black and gold and like gray and some other color, and the new ones are like a royal purple and gold, and then this kind of marbled blood one. So, anyway, we have a giveaway of those dice going live. That is live, and you can go and back them as well. Tomorrow is It Builds character number 20, and I'm building Tingle from The Legend of Zelda.
All right. Why internet?
Yeah, somebody asked for Tingle. I mean, like last week I built Ghost Rider.
All right,
which was fun. And the week before that was Leroy Jenkins.
That's cool too.
Link before that.
Yeah, fine. But
now,
Tingle?
And the week before that was
Tingle
Shrek.
A bard?
I don't know what
Tingle's got to be a bard. That's the only thing that.
But the week before Link was Shrek.
Yeah.
So now I'm building.
He's
Tingle.
an ogre.
What's after Tingle?
Something better. No matter what it is. What a creepy little guy. I'm sorry, internet. I really don't like Tingle. I didn't like him in any of the Legend of Zelda games. I think he's ridiculous.
Hating on Tingle hard.
Yeah. I just like, I ran into him the first time and I was like, oh.
Creepy.
He's creepy. I remember being like a little kid and being like, all right, I'm never going to talk to you. It's like, nope, you got the maps. Oh, well, I'll buy them, I guess.
A Power Ranger.
Oh,
Nice.
Not
just a general.
A Power Ranger. I get to pick which one.
Red Ranger.
Green Ranger.
Green Ranger.
Red Ranger.
Green Ranger.
Yeah, if you want to be like edgy.
Or the best.
Yeah, or the best. Black Ranger.
I kind of agree with Red Ranger.
Why?
I don't know, I like him better.
But you ever see like 20 Red Rangers fight together?
Yes. Did you ever see where Tommy the Green Ranger beat Jason the Red Ranger in a fight? Because
I
that
just
happened.
like Jason better than Tommy.
That's fine. You're liking a personality, not the
Yeah,
Ranger.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
arguing
Ranger's
for the Ranger.
Okay.
Green Ranger is better. He has his own Zord.
Roll stats, make 2.
I'm not rolling stats because I don't roll stats. Because it's unfair.
Make all the Power Rangers.
That I could do, but that would be significant. Because we're already out until like July. As far
Do it
as
all in one sitting. Challenge yourself, Ted. Go
no,
further.
I don't want to do that.
Do you get them greater fine steed? Is that part of the build? Seems like that would be part of the build.
I think they're probably going to be more like a monk.
That's fair.
Yeah,
They're very martial arts
sense.
heavy.
that makes sense.
But again, I also attempt to try to do it with the least amount of homebrew possible.
Right.
Because I want it to be easily replicatable. Most thing that gets homebrewed is items.
Yeah.
Like that's why Link took 2 hours. Because I had to come up with every Legend of Zelda item from Ocarina of Time in a way to make it
reasonable.
D&D related. Let's see. There was... So, this is something that'll happen around or after probably the Evil campaign. Or, yeah, I guess the Evil campaign in February will maybe be either on the weekend or potentially before the following Tuesday's game. I will have built Captain America, and there was a request And because at the time you were the only two that were here, so it was requested that it be you guys. So one of you has to play Iron Man, and one of you has to play Captain America, and you need to reenact Civil War to see who wins.
All right.
Ooh.
I'm gonna win.
I don't know about that.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
be
even know who
Iron
you're playing.
Man.
Oh, you're gonna be Iron Man?
I'm gonna be Iron Man.
No.
Because he's cooler.
I built Iron Man already, so he
there-
exists.
So there we go.
I built Iron Man way back
Sure.
in September.
Iron Man's
So,
definitely cooler than
His
that.
character sheet exists on the internet. He's an artificer.
Can he fly?
Well, rather than having like a Festus or a mechanical servant, he has the armor.
The
and he
armor
goes
suit.
inside.
Nice.
And that is the
All right.
golem.
I'm in.
Alright. With
So,
your
yeah.
shield master feet.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you take that? You'd be a knucklehead. You're not.
I don't know how to answer that.
He's probably a battle master fighter
That makes sense.
with like a really cool shield,
Yeah, that makes sense too.
+3 shield that does other throwing, returning.
Oh, you mean Darren's shield?
Yeah.
Yeah, which was what it was based on.
Yeah.
Captain
Yeah.
America's. So there you go.
You inherited.
Pretty much. So, all right, I think that's enough like announcement-based stuff.
Pat's here.
I mean,
That's an
that's,
announcement.
He's
that's-
back.
I mean, they could see. He's here. He's right there.
Right
Whoa.
there. Oh, that works pretty well.
I don't like that.
Why
Even
are
a
you
little.
so much more yellow than us?
Because I adjusted the white balance so that I look sunny and like I'm not white and deathly.
Oh, just
Oh.
leave us white and deathly.
I mean, I probably could. It's just also this camera had the white balance already adjusted.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
okay. We'll take it.
I mean, I
Like,
could.
I'm okay with it.
I can adjust the white balance so you guys are a little more warm. But this way, I'm the warm, happy person, and you guys are the weird people that get killed in normal games. And I can get Jake too. But it's weird because it's not like.
No, yeah,
It's not as
you're
good.
way reaching.
Oh wait, wrong way.
Oh,
Anyway, that's enough fun with cameras. So, what we're gonna talk about today, probably for about half of this time, is Tomb of Annihilation. So, first off, let's start very high level. I guess we'll start with Pat, and this will be the way we go, kind of around the room.
clockwise.
Clockwise, yeah. So, Pat, I know you didn't get to play through all of it. So, out of what you did, well, just, I guess, your general high-level thoughts on Tomb of Annihilation. Like it, didn't like it.
Like general overview.
Your general feeling on the campaign. Again, you didn't play all of it. You only played, I think, maybe
the first.
session and maybe one or two after that.
Well, the
out
whole
of-
24-hour stream.
Yes.
No,
21.
not all of it.
Oh, 21 hours. Of the
21 of
24 hours.
24.
But he got through maybe the first third of the
Yeah.
of the
It's
campaign.
through the way we played the campaign. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
It was good.
You liked it?
Yeah, I did. The world itself was interesting. The encounters, like the plants with Erdsgain being eaten
immediately.
instantly.
Yeah.
It felt deadly.
Yeah. Got sent to my tomb pretty quick. Got annihilated a couple times.
3.
Yeah.
Okay, Sean, what about you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Celine?
That's my favorite. No, I thought it was fun. I mean, I wasn't here for the 24-hour stream, so I missed the whole first part of it.
It's about 8 Tuesdays, roughly,
Okay.
to give you an
Yeah.
idea. But there were
Um,
16 after that.
Yeah.
So, or 15
Those are
after that.
Yeah, for a lot of it. I liked a lot of the puzzles and riddles. Like, that stuff was fun to work through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The dungeon was really long.
Yeah, well, it was a dungeon crawl.
Yeah.
We'll come back more to
But,
specifics.
yeah. But
So-
I enjoyed it. Cholt sucks.
Cholt does suck, but it sucked in a way that made me feel like I don't know, I was very invested in keeping my guy alive, and I had a lot of fun trying to overcome these random challenges. And I thought that definitely the first half, we'll say, into the tomb was very fun and I felt very immersed in the world.
Okay.
And then the tomb was just very difficult.
Well, that was
The
Yeah.
idea.
So we'll
that
talk-
was-
talk a little about
Yeah.
the history in a second here. So again, from my perspective, for running it, I had fun. I had a good time. I got to rip up character sheets, which I'd never done before, but that was a function sort of the game, and that was a blast.
oh.
So anyway, yeah, I generally enjoyed it, and I have some thoughts on the actual adventure specific when we get into it. So, all right, so that's sort of just general high-level thoughts on things. Again, chat, feel free to throw out questions and things if you have any. related to the campaign or otherwise. And we reserve the right to either answer them or not, because it's my show. So,
It's Ted's world. We just live in it.
Yeah.
all right. So, obviously we talked about how it was deadly, right? Clearly.
Yeah.
Very deadly.
So
Very
the history on this is Tomb of Annihilation. It was heavily based on Tomb of Horrors, which was Gygax's original dungeon that he built. That was very powerful. They're very deadly. That was designed to just wreck high level characters back in first edition D&D. And the spiritual successor to Tomb of Horrors is in Tales from the Yawning Portal, which is Tomb of Horrors. So you can play that. It's a high-level game designed to just kill you, basically. This was heavily inspired from that, but was not the whole focus of the game. Things led up to it. This was a return to Chult. And Chult, the Tomb of Annihilation is built on a couple of different modules that were sort of amalgamated together to make this. So it is the most recently released, which is the Coast pre-written campaign. There should be one coming up in about August, if they keep with the same release cadence. I will tell you, it is absolutely, without a doubt, with the exception of a couple little wonky parts of it, the best written book thus far. They've made a lot of adjustments that we all really appreciate. Like, hey, I go into this room, I cast Detect Magic. Oh, this thing radiates an aura of transmutation magic. Rather than like, kind of guess it runs this kind of magic. They spell it out for you. And again, because you're going to have all these questions and you know there's going to be traps, right? Because you automatically metagame if there's going to be traps and things. So they built that out for you, which I liked. I liked having that information.
Yeah.
So that was and
the name glossary.
Yes,
nice.
they do have a name and pronunciations for almost all of the names. Right in the front, there's just a section that has that, which is great because this has a lot of wonky names that are not your normal, you wouldn't normally encounter. Okay, so we'll get back to that question in a second. So, let's talk. I guess we'll start with Port Nianzara, right? Because that's where the whole campaign starts.
Yeah.
It's the starting town, so you didn't really get to experience that. Yep, it is the initial, the first map in the book, and it's basically where everything starts, and it's sort of your bastion to go back, the last bastion of civilization. So, Pat, you actually probably got to spend some of the most time there of anybody. Oh, well, the three of you guys got to spend it, but you had two characters go through there.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on the city?
The lords were cool.
Okay.
So the interpersonal relations of those made you want to seek them out, find different information about them.
Okay.
The port itself was cool. Very colorful. The way it was written.
Yes, it is
described.
very flamboyant for sure in the way things are written.
Yeah, and the dinosaur races was fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing that I feel like in a longer campaign that didn't start as a 24-hour stream may have been something you would have experimented with more.
Yeah.
Like, let's go back and try again, see how we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Sean, what about you, Port Nianzara?
I agree. I really liked it. I thought it was a really well fleshed out city. I liked that there were low level magic items you could buy.
Yes.
If you had the gold. Yeah. Just, 2 thumbs up for Port Nianzara.
Yeah.
And I wish we had more time. I wish it didn't start in the 24-hour stream. I would have liked to explore that a lot. But
or
still,
if we
even
approached the 24-hour stream like something we were going to continue.
yes,
Then we could have really.
yeah,
It
We
would have
could have
been
spent a
different.
lot more time there.
yeah. Because I feel like I was about to say something and then I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
It's not your fault. I'm just dumb.
Oh, well,
At least you're
that's only
self-aware.
true in game.
It's true. I'm so dumb. Yeah. So overall, I really liked it.
That is, to your point, you could buy a couple of +1 weapons, +1 ammo, +1 shield, and then actually
Spell
common and uncommon potions and first and second level spell scrolls. So, I mean, that's a fair amount of stuff to be able to just flat out purchase
Yeah.
for gold pieces. Things cost a little bit more in some cases, like a common potion is 80 gold rather than 50,
Right.
because it's got to get to Chult.
Yeah,
But the
shipping
other
fees.
point, things are more available, which is nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake? Thoughts on
Portney and Zaro. I thought it was a lot of fun. I definitely wish we could have spent a little bit more time there, but it was really colorful the way it was. The guides were really cool. I felt like
that's
that
a thing
added
to talk
a
about.
lot.
Yeah.
Being able to pick who's bringing you into the jungle, I feel like gives you like a lot. You can end up with a lot of different flavor just from that, and like that can, we ended up Mushi. We ended up being like friends with him. He ended up being an important part of our story and our our plot line. So I thought that was cool.
And to that point, it does lend itself to a just degree multiple playthroughs of the game. If you were to play through this again and choose a different guide, that'll take you to a different part of the map. I'll have different encounters, different NPC interactions, which is cool. It would just so happen that when I played in it, I chose the same guide, which made it easier for me, one, to run the game, but also I didn't get to see any of the stuff that I didn't see because you guys played through pretty much the same path. But again, eventually all roads lead to Omu, which then leads to the tomb. So that whole part,
once you get there,
then it's pretty much going to be the same, unless you have different creative ways to beat the different things.
But still, I feel like if you're going to do like a homebrew campaign, you could still take all the stuff you didn't do in Chult, just roll that right in, have some material all ready to go.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And that's a third of an adventure. What level were we at when we got there? Like 8?
No,
into Omu?
Into
like
Omu?
5.
Like 5? Yeah, so you still get, if you're running a game and you're, don't have the time to think up something.
Pluck anything right out of there.
Anything right out of there. And dynamic, interesting content.
Sure. Alright, let's take a couple questions here from the chat. When did you initially think of Nerd Immersion as a corporation, as you can travel and interact at major conventions? Nerd Immersion spawned out of the Chronicles of Tyria podcast, which was my Guild Wars 2 podcast, and that was because I got very frustrated, and this is nothing to at least some of my co-hosts, who I am still friends with. Others...
Sean.
No, Sean was not. Sean was never...
He was a mascot.
No, he was a mascot. He sat in the background behind me and played Guild Wars while I did the podcast.
Nice.
He would wear colorful hats.
Oh, well.
It's a good gig.
That's a great gig.
He would wear wore a leprechaun outfit for like around St. Patty's Day, and he wore
Is it over there?
I think he's over here. It was over here. I don't know where it went.
He wore
Basically like a sequins Uncle Sam hat.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Beautiful.
This was for 4th of July.
I can see you wearing that.
Yeah. And he just was quietly and just like occasional comments. But anyway, my co-hosts, in the time that I was on the podcast, which was from episode 1 to episode 115, whenever we canceled it, I had 1, 2, 3, at least 4 co-hosts join stream with me for a while for the podcast and then quit.
Oh, wow.
So, inconsistency has become my biggest issue with anything I do on the internet, because I hate having to, you put your faith and time and effort into something and you're relying on other people to help you with that, and then they just are like, cool, later.
I quit.
Sometimes, understandable, medical reasons or otherwise, but sometimes they're like, I just don't really think I want to do it anymore. To the point where I've almost thought in future endeavors being like, listen, here's a legally binding contract that you have to sign. And if you back out of it, there will be legal ramifications, because I'm tired of dealing with your bullshit. I have
40-episode deal at least.
Right, exactly. And we can renegotiate
at
later.
that point, yeah.
But, as I digress, that was all I was doing, was just Guild Wars. And I said, man, I could talk about a lot of things, because I like a lot of video games, I like a lot of other stuff. Maybe I should do my own thing. Still was balancing both. And I think the first video ever, as I launched the website and the YouTube simultaneously in like 2013, 2014, was from the hotel room in Philadelphia, at Wizard World, Philadelphia. Go ahead, James. Ask away. But anyway, yeah. So I built Nerd Immersion to take the time I spent in the Guild Wars 2 scene and develop it out into a greater thing. And if you go back through the history of the YouTube, there is a lot of time it took us to find where we are now, which is mostly D&D related stuff, but there's a lot of video game streams, there's art streams, there's a whole bunch of there's cooking shows, there's a bunch of stuff that's on the YouTube channel if you go back and watch.
Nice.
Okay. So, hello again to everybody else who's here in the chat. And then, so basically the idea to make it a corporation was the fact that I realized that I could charge things as business expenses. And then realizing that having done panels, we did panels for a bunch of conventions. You get like a panelist badge. You get to go to the convention for free, which is nice. But then I found out, like, if I go to these conventions on a media ticket, when I go up, as we learned over the course of PAX Unplugged, if I go up and ask somebody, a vendor, hey, tell me about your product, and I just stick a microphone in front of them, that justifies that ticket. And it's things I want to know anyway, but now it's recorded. Yeah. Which we definitely did at least once with Level Up Dice. We had the perfect interview, and we're like, fuck, we should have recorded that.
Right after that, we were like, oh, oops.
And we started with 2C Gaming, and we're like, stop!
Wait.
Set up the camera.
Can we interview you?
Can we interview you? So that was how that worked. So now it's basically get a free ticket, and then have the government pay for my hotel as its business expense. Pat, how does it feel to be 3/4 of the total deaths on the stream?
Feels good.
Gonna be honest with you, it feels good.
Yep. I've caused a lot of that in D&D and
in life.
I'm proud of it.
Not to dive too much into tax-related things, but charging things as a business expense makes it a write-off on your taxes, so it will lower your overall total billable income. So it works out for getting into lower tax brackets and things like that.
Ted's not an accountant, and nothing he says counts as actual advice.
That's also true. I'm not advising you to do any of these things. Sean, how did you get to be so dreamy? Says James.
Well, I started off as a young lad, dreaming of being dreamy, and it's just hard work. You gotta wake up early, you gotta stay up late, you gotta put in the hours.
Your beard's doing a weird thing.
Yeah, that's part of the dreaminess.
Oh.
Part of my appeal, if you will. Thank you for asking, James.
Do you condition twice?
What?
Your hair, like in the shower. You condition it once, then a second time?
No, I oil it.
Ah.
Condition and then oil.
Damn.
Oh. Beard oil, but in the hair.
Yeah, okay, alright.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Sure. You learn new things every day.
Secret to dreaming beard oil in the hair.
In the hair.
Alright, I think there is, I will also just point out that this is one of the first adventures that did have a whole table full of rumors that you could hear while walking around Port Nianzaro, which
cool.
was nice for gathering information, which was a thing, like gather information was a skill in 3.5. When you go into a town and you want to learn about stuff, you'd make a gather information check.
Nice.
They kind of gave you could make a couple checks and then roll a percentile to see what you learn. There were also random encounters.
Right.
For Choltz, we encountered a couple of them, like a parrot pooped on your head. Because you rolled a 1 on the random
we ran into, what's-his-face? Volo.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, you did run into Volo. That was one. There was actually, you guys ran that random person who, spouted off prophecy and then passed out.
Yep.
Bumped into you and I was like, oh, the thing disappeared.
Yeah.
You guys didn't get to experience the Prisoner's Carnival, which was, or not Prisoner's Carnival, that's from Luskin. Executioner's Run, which would have been an interesting thing. No one would ever in their right mind volunteer for that, but it's basically like a gauntlet where a bunch of like velociraptors and dinosaurs are released, and if you make it, like if you're guilty, chosen guilty, or condemned guilty, they throw you in there. You have to run from one end to the other, and if you make it out, you're considered innocent. Like you're absolved of all charges.
Wow. That's it.
To the point where one of the merchant princes made so much money in Executioner's Run that they were able to buy themselves into becoming a prince.
Damn.
Because they made so much money.
Oh.
What do you do? I run real fast.
It is a 15-foot deep, 50 feet wide, 200-foot long basic trench that you run through. Velociraptors, panthers, or other hungry beasts are released into the pit. Convicted criminals are dropped in one end. Any criminal that makes it alive through the gauntlet at the far end and can scramble up the ropes wins their freedom, along with, a door. The crowd goes wild for you, and basically a handful of Choltons have become celebrities for surviving multiple runs. And essentially you can
Make a lot of money.
You could bet on yourself and things. I don't think this guy's gonna run, or you put like 4
Who
people.
would
in
ever
there.
bet against themselves? I'm gonna go tank it for my wife and kids.
Oh, so sad.
Bet against me, honey.
Nick, what was you wanted to push for an answer to the question about Sean?
Which question?
I'm
Why are
guessing
you so dreamy?
What else could I say?
Jake, where do you get your glasses frames? They look really good.
Well, I got them at whatever the glasses store at the mall is called. I think it's a Lens Crafter. These ones are Access, and they are nice.
Alright.
Yeah, well, I access for it. But oh wait, no, these are from the Armani Exchange. I don't know. They were the cheapest ones they had at the store. So that's what you gotta go do. You go to a nice glasses place, and then you look for the cheapest glasses, and then question marks, and then profit. And there you go.
Good plan.
Yeah,
I like it.
they're covered in paint and stuff.
Oh, what did you guys think about the kind of the adventure hook to get you to Chult in the first place?
I was ready to go into Chult, so I was okay with it, but it wasn't like awesome. It's like this random lady's like, "Hey, go into the jungle and die for me," and that's just not like an attractive appeal.
You see, I liked it because it introduced the death curse. Like, so
Yeah.
RP wise, like, I didn't care that this lady was dying and wanted us to go die in the jungle for her. It was more of a like, this is the thing that's destroying the whole world.
Yes.
You're also getting paid.
Yeah.
No, but I thought it was cool because I feel like
I
trying
feel
to
like,
think about it.
I feel like it's a better hook for like 5th level characters.
That's fair.
who are like, "Oh, I was just a regular guy and I can shoot once, and I'm supposed to go figure out why everybody in the entire world is
Yeah, that's fair.
dying."
That makes sense.
And it's like, I feel like it's they
Yeah.
I
really.
have to pee.
You're the worst,
I know!
Celine.
We're not going to get to any point that she played for
Yeah,
the
I
next
was
40
like,
minutes.
I wasn't a part of this. I figured
So
it was
Celine,
okay.
let me ask you about. No, just go, get out of here.
Anyway,
I have to also add, I really like the environmental stuff, like the
Oh yeah, I was
diseases
gonna
you
talk
can
about that.
get,
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
food you could eat, and different things like that.
I was gonna ask about. There's a couple of like specific items, like the rain catchers and the
Yes.
canoes and yikawas.
yes.
I like Yikawas now that I can pronounce it. It only
Yeah.
took like 6 weeks.
Insect repellent. Yeah, there's that whole piece we
You
talked
gotta
about.
take
the
care of
guides.
yourself. It felt like you were adventuring, like you were
Well,
in the crap.
so I also thought that
jungle's
was like
enough.
cool, but at the same time, since we were doing it for 24-hour stream and we were trying to rush, I felt like it was taking up time.
Right, and then we got to Omo, and then there was
Yeah.
no reason to do it. At that
Yeah,
point.
so I think if I were to run this game, what I think I would do is kind of have them all pool their resources and figure out how many days worth of resources they have total, and then just kind of like tick that down, rather than having each character be like, how many days of bug repellent do you have, how many days of water do you have, how many days
That's
of
smart.
this. I just feel like it would streamline the process while still making it seem like you were really adventuring.
right.
Well, to that point
Then
though.
you could just be affected by the weather and stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
to that point though, heavy armor wearing characters, which I forgot about, have to drink twice as much water because
you
they're
see?
in heavy armor.
Makes sense.
So, like, you would have to track your water separate than Carrick, or you would have had to track yours, because I think you need to drink a gallon of water a day.
Right.
You would need to drink 2
2
gallons,
gallons,
and
yeah.
if you didn't, and you can only theoretically drink the water that you get from the sky. And if you're in a little bit of a droughty part, you better hope you have enough water, or you go through dehydration, which is
Pretty severe.
I'm sorry. At the end of each day, any character who hasn't drunk at least 2 gallons of fresh water has to make a DC 15 con save or suffer a level of exhaustion. Saving throws made with disadvantage if they're wearing medium or heavy armor. That might be what it was.
Okay.
Or heavy clothing. If they're traveling at a fast pace, they take a -5 penalty on the saving throws. And you can't possibly lose that level of exhaustion until you've been sufficiently hydrated and then get a long rest.
Okay. That's pretty wild.
There were the diseases, which you guys didn't really encounter: throat leeches, mad monkey fever, and the shivering
I got
sickness.
mad monkey fever.
Did you get mad monkey fever?
I did for a little bit in
A little
Omo.
bit. Yeah.
The blue mist.
Yes.
Yep. Made me paranoid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
You did.
Once I figured out you had it.
Yeah.
a couple other
That was before you were
questions
dumb.
from the chat.
Well,
That was before you were real dumb. You were just kind of dumb before that.
Dumbish.
Yeah. Like smart enough.
Was the Dragon Turtle during the Tomb of Annihilation 24-hour stream or no? If you're referring to the donation that I think you made, Hypertroller, that was post the 24-hour stream.
No, it was in
Or
No,
was
that
it?
was
Was
in
it? Was it in it? Okay.
It was
it
towards
was.
the end.
All right.
Simber was with us.
And then
That was between after we fought the dragon itself
Yeah.
and before we got into Omu. There was
That's
like a 3-day travel, and that was during it, and we barely lived.
Yeah.
Which was regular. That was
Yeah,
a
I was
regular
gonna say, I feel like
thing.
that was every week.
Almost every battle that Bill got into, even before Omu, is I would hit it, crit, smite, die.
that was also not to be confused with Aramag, who is the dragon turtle who guards over the Bay of Cholt,
Different
Yes.
people.
which is something that you could encounter if you come in by sea, and you do have the potential to fight it.
Right.
Which we sort of almost fought in Peril and Port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got?
They didn't want us.
If you had to come up with nicknames for any of your fellow party members, what would they be?
Oh, jeez. Thanks for
Dead.
putting us. Of our fellow party members, I don't know. That's a hard
Stinking
one.
Placement.
The replacements. Internet, this question is very hard.
Thank you, James.
I would give Bill. I
The
don't
ones
have
you
a
state.
specific one, but I would give you something to do with mood changes and mood swings. We
Yeah.
went through 50 different
Moody
mood
Blues.
swings.
Yeah.
We definitely were moody,
You were so moody.
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
I had a lot of emotions, guys.
We could call you Tanklin though, because you were basically our
Yeah.
little tank. We send you through stuff.
That's true.
Tanklin's a good one.
That's okay, James. You would cause dead air, jerk.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're not good at thinking on our
You
feet.
guys, yeah, I know. It's apparent. So anyway, let's leave that one. We did get a how'd you guys all meet in real life? I known Sean since we were 4.
I've known Pat since me and him were like 5.
So I've known Sean for forever. I met these guys when we played in an Adventure League. I met you first, and then eventually you at an Adventure League game at our now closed and relocated local game store on like a Wednesday night D&D.
Yep.
And we did that for a while.
We found Celine. She was homeless, so we brought her back. Gave her a shower, some food, and we were like, "You're a girl. Come on, you're playing."
Yes. And then I said, Sean, our other game isn't really working out. Let's try an in-person game. You should play. I'll run a game. I know this guy, Jake. Let's get
No,
him.
first you wanted to get your amiibo friends.
I did. They
Yeah.
they had said like we'd never played D&D. We really want to do it. I was like, cool. Tuesday. I'm like, oh, we can't do Tuesday. I was like, all right, well, fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Well, I was trying to get a group of 4.
Right.
So that would have been you, those 2, and then you. So then I was like, I know this guy Jake. He's pretty cool. Let's invite him.
It's true.
And then Jake showed up. And then eventually Jake's like, Pat wants to come. And I was like, I don't know. He's kind of weird.
I said, yeah, but he is fun, and he's been fun
When he's here.
Yeah, it gets everybody killed a lot, like regularly.
Like
Semi-
once every year?
Once per campaign, at least.
I mean, yes,
Right?
yeah,
Right?
No. Got all the way through out of the
Out of
abyss.
the
That's
abyss.
true.
He
That's
died.
Yeah, you died. You died. But you didn't get anyone else
He
killed.
very nearly died a lot, though.
Yeah, but he didn't get anyone else killed.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
His character almost was banished forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because of poor choices.
You almost fell off a bridge and splatted unconscious.
Almost angered your god.
Yeah.
Well,
Hard
definitely
God
annoyed. Definitely annoyed your god.
A little
For
bit.
sure.
Praise the darkness.
Dude!
Sean, you're trying so hard to ignore here.
Ilmater's
Did I
not
hear
cool with that
no, I
shit.
didn't hear that. Did I? Did he really just?
Did he
didn't
really
say
just
that.
fucking say that?
Is the reception underground a little worse or what?
Good game.
That was fun.
No, but I'm friends with Celine's older sister, and that's how I met her. And
Yeah.
and she was like, "I'm a nerd." I was like, "All right, I play a game on the TV."
internet.
Well,
No,
the-
you were like, my friend plays the game online. Do you want to play?
That sounds like me.
That
Yeah.
does sound right.
Yeah.
yeah, and then we came up with a short, sort of off-stream intro for her character. Then she showed up, and then the rest has been 2.5 years worth of history that you can pretty much see
Online.
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Get to see me fumble through playing D&D for the first time.
You shouldn't have picked a druid first.
Druids
are hard.
It was rough.
Druids are hard.
I wanted a battle bear. That was my main motivation, and I never got one.
You always be a ranger.
Yeah.
I did get a negative, though. So.
Let's see.
I'm okay with it.
So,
So into the jungle itself, right?
yes, that is roughly about 50 pages of the book. This section right here is basically just travel through Chult,
Right.
and different encounters that you can. This is not random encounters, just more like locations, maps, and certain things that you could encounter. You guys didn't really encounter too much because you guys went more or less on the straight shot. Also, something that somebody else brought up when we were talking about it, everybody seems to take the river.
Yeah. I think it's a naturally good decision to
Yeah.
go on the river. Like, oh, look, we can have the river, or we can trek through the jungle on foot.
Because the way it's supposed to go with the map is if you guys don't go by the river, right, you got
Right, probably.
all of these empty hexes.
If
basically,
we had
if
time, we would have
you-
went up north to the whatever that cape was. That one guy was like, "Hey, you should come here and solve my problem for experience and money." And I would have been like, "Yeah, we
Yeah,
should do that
exactly,
first because
yeah.
it's up there, away from everything else. Obviously, it's its own thing,
Yeah.
and that's
Because what's supposed to happen is if your guide ever fails their survival check, I can tell you which hexes you're around.
Ooh.
So if they fail,
Right.
I'm like, you're in one of these.
You're in
And if
that
they
general
continue
area.
to fail,
You'd be
I know
anywhere.
where you are. You have no idea where you're at.
Mm,
If you make the checks and you're back on track, you're like, oh, we're in this hex here.
right.
And then we're going to try to go to this next hex. And if they fail, you could be over here. You could be over there. But following the river, you can't get...
It's hard to
You're
get
on the
lost.
river, right?
Mhm.
Like, so everybody I know buys boats if they can afford it and uses the river. One, because undead can't swim.
Right.
And you can't get lost if you stay by the river because it only goes
One direction.
one direction.
Yeah.
And you'll know if you went backwards, right?
Yep.
So that was just something. So in Chult, what did you guys encounter out in the jungle? Anything memorable? We did also have, who was your favorite NPC?
Dragon bait.
Yeah?
Yeah, Dragon bait was awesome. I wish that I had the Helm of Telepathy earlier, that I could have given it to him. And then he would have been able to communicate with people.
Nanny Poo Poo.
Yeah?
Yeah. Nanny Poo Poo was real fun.
Oh, grossest part of the campaign, though, was ingesting that snake.
Or Lunga.
Yeah.
Fair.
That was gross.
You guys had to eat snakes.
I threw it up once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he threw it back up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had to go get the flowers and follow the Chewingas.
Yep. But
Um,
that snake gargling was gross.
You guys didn't really deal with too much else out in the jungle.
Not really.
We found the Shield Guardian,
But you didn't find the
but we
amulet.
didn't find the amulet. We dealt with Nanny Poo Poo and the pterosaurs.
Fun fact that Nanny Poo Poo is a hag.
Oh,
She's a
that makes
gre-
sense.
She is a green hag. So,
When did Shovel Knight come in?
right around there.
Nanny Poo Poo sent us on an errand, and before we went back to her having completed the errand, Shovel Knight showed up.
yes.
I also really like the fly pterodactyl people.
Terrafolk?
Terrafolk. They were really cool.
Terrifying Terrafolk.
Terrible.
So that story, all the dead people, all the sea of bones, that's all her.
Oh, yeah?
She murdered that entire village. And she just, like, doesn't like the Terrafolk.
Right.
It's just like, go take care of them. But, like, basically, yeah, if you piss her off, you have to fight her. And she's a hag, and she has a golem made of, like, flesh or bones
Right.
or, like, skeletons that she summons to fight with her. But she also has, like, the weird hag magic, so it's got, like, all sorts of wonky other abilities that you, like,
effects and
wouldn't know
funky
that
stuff.
she has.
Is it a coven?
Oh, it's just her. She's a solo one.
Oh, yeah,
She
coven's
also
multiple
can
ones.
do 3. Gotta be 3. She also can do the whole bring you back, but you're an undead.
Mm-hmm.
You slowly start to die.
Deteriorate.
so it's actually worse for you.
Yeah, because then if the curse is lifted, you're still undead, right?
Correct.
You can save everyone else, but not yourself. Ironic.
Do we get everybody's favorite NPC? Dragonbait.
Nanny Poo Poo.
Nanny Poo Poo.
I think Dragonbait was mine.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
He was just very unique.
There weren't a lot of NPCs
Yeah, I
running
didn't-
around. It was like Orvik. That one
Um,
grung who we killed.
Yeah.
Oh.
The red wizards we
Yeah.
interact with.
Moochery.
I like. Ooh,
Well, she didn't meet Mushi.
I like-
Never saw Musha.
the little kid things in the.
Oh,
tomb.
the little.
Oh, the little puppet.
straw
the
bundle
the little
and-
puppet,
Oh,
the
No
monkey,
face, baby
and,
no
like,
face.
Yeah,
Yep.
I enjoyed them, and
Whatever,
I don't know if it
Clay
counts
No
as
Face or
NPC,
whatever.
but I really
Clay No
like
Face
the water
and then-
monster
The monkey.
who like made me try to kill you, and he got sucked under.
Yeah,
It
the
wasn't
big
an
old.
NPC,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was a giant.
It was
I
almost
just
an
enjoyed
NPC.
it. It was kind of an NPC.
Withers was a big jerk. I didn't like him at all.
Yeah. And I like the
there's
gods.
as Dice Camera Action, the one was the Coast live stream. They're playing through it. They just got to Omu and they're doing the Fane of the Night Serpent as we speak. But there's been some stuff that they've done, decisions that were made, and I wish we were well in advance of where they were.
Right.
So there were some things that they had done that I wish I had thought of to implement. Like they had only one person see the Chewingas. So like only one person's like, no, there's these like crazy little dudes. And they're like doing this thing. And so only one of you knows that it's happening. To everybody else, you just seem like an idiot. You're like, no, we gotta like pick up the purple flower. We gotta walk up to the top of the steps. All right, now we gotta go get a purple flower and a red flower. All right, now we gotta eat a snake.
Yeah.
We gotta tickle the snake and then hit it with it and then eat it.
Yeah. Easy stuff.
Another thing was I told you guys there was like the lizard in the tomb.
Yes.
I think I told you guys. There's a lizard in the tomb that was like awakened by a druid or something. So if you spoke druidic, you could talk to the lizard and it could give you pointers throughout the tomb. But nobody here spoke druidic. So in the most recent Acquisitions Incorporated, they had it, but it could speak, but it could only speak in words that ended in like ION. So like the thing showed up and it was like initiation, and it was French, and it only spoke like that.
Salutation.
Yeah, basically just like that. And I was like, man, that's the best NPC I've ever heard. And then the chat, like in the audience, named it Sebastian.
Sebastian.
But like he would just make like casual things occasionally, like rejection, annihilation, things like that. And I thought it was hilarious, and I was like, I wish I'd had the foresight to put that in.
Yeah.
So anything else about the jungle of Chult that you guys liked, didn't like, wish you had explored more?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I wish we
obviously.
could get onto that Aarakocra.
No, that would have been a cool thing. There's also a sky ship.
Yeah,
that you guys
that
didn't
was definitely on the list of things we would have went to.
Yeah.
A star goddess.
Getting that shield guardian probably would have made the actual tomb itself a lot more reasonable.
Yeah, sure.
Because that was kind of a big deal.
Probably wouldn't have been able to go into the Room of Respite with us.
No.
You just stand outside.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much everything that leads up to Omu. So what do you guys think about Omu, the city, in and of itself?
I thought a lot of the puzzles in the city were really, really cool at the shrines.
Okay.
I felt like they really bent your brain, and like
Yeah.
there was a lot of like, what do we do? And then we're trying this, and then we try that, and none of it works, and then it does, and it all made sense.
Yeah.
So like it was a challenge, but like
It was a reasonable challenge.
yeah, it was all
Like you would get there eventually.
Yeah, they were logical answers
Yeah.
at the end of the day. You know, when you put it through the filter of a magical world.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I thought that was great. And the Grung are a bunch of jerks.
There is one of the things in Chult you didn't get is like the Grung home city. That's one of the places you could have gone.
That sounds like a bad idea.
There is some magic stuff there. I think there's like a circle of blasting and a handful of other things that are there that you guys could have found, but you did make your way there. Dung Grun Lung, I think it's called.
Shangri-La, good.
Yeah, sure. So that's pretty much like the whole puzzle cube scenario.
Yeah, and I did also like that some of them was it random. That's like some of them are done.
Yeah,
After a
it
certain
basically
amount of
says
Mm.
it says the Red Wizards are doing it too.
Mm.
So like at some point it says Raznisi like always has one. Like if the other 8 are captured, then Raznisi takes the final one, so you have to interact with him.
Right.
And basically it's like if you guys take your sweet ass time, the Red Wizards could have almost all of them.
Yeah.
And then it's just like
They're looking for you.
right. All right, so that pretty much covers the outside of Omu, I think. King of Feathers, what do you think?
Really cool idea.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
A little weak as a T-Rex.
Yeah, it has extra hit points and stuff, but
Yeah. The Spinosaurus is.
well, I
cool, though.
changed it to
Yeah.
that to make it better. But yeah. All right, so Fane of the Night Serpent, the Yuan-Ti thing that you guys basically just
stealth
through the whole place. What do you guys think of it? I know you didn't really deal with too much interaction within there. None of you guys were human, so you didn't have the opportunity to be turned into Yuan-Ti.
I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a well fleshed out little prequel to the tomb itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I had like a couple little traps and things to work around, and that fight with Raznisi and his champion guy that ended up being pretty tight.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool. Like we jumped him, and we got it, but if we didn't have like that big advantage there, that would have been a real hard fight.
I also thought it was cool that, like, there's no way of knowing it, but, like, the whole time you're in Chult, you're hearing, like, fucking Raznisi. Like, even
Bad
outside
dude.
of Chult, we heard, like, Raznisi, bad guy. And you could have just, like, chatted with him and be like, hey, we're going to stop the
Yeah.
Death Curse. Like, I liked that was an option, even though, like, that's not
Not what
the
you would
route
think.
we've taken. I thought that was, like, a cool kind of little
Yeah.
addition.
Like
Because I feel like a lot of villains are one-dimensional in everything.
Yeah.
So this one had, like,
some layers of depth.
some layers. Like, oh, he doesn't want to die, so he'll help you.
Yeah, because his health is constantly deteriorating throughout the course of the game, too. You get what it is at the start, and then you tick it down
Day by day.
to eventually what it is each day you guys spend traveling there. So, yeah, he didn't want to die. So he would have been fine if you guys were going to end the Death Curse. I can't remember if he knows that a Sararak... Because the Sarak's the one who, like, gave him power. He also, I don't think, was originally a Yuan-Ti either.
Okay.
But like you guys, because you mostly stealth through it, there's an entire political intrigue thing in the Fane in the temple. Like his high priestess wants to overthrow him.
Right.
If you run into her, she will help you to do that as long as you like leave her at the place. And then there's one of the guys in the harem that like the dude that goes into the harem and he's like got a secret lover, but it's also like Raznisi's lover. So there's like a whole way you can go about to try to politically play the Yuan-Ti against each
So
other.
if you get captured, you can kind of play them against each
There are
other.
different ways to
Right.
navigate your way.
Yeah,
through
and I
it,
mean,
which
you
is
guys didn't
interesting.
have magic at the time, but you could have potentially gained access to the teleporters, as there is teleporters that bounce around the room. None of you guys had either. I think it's proficiency in Arcana is the requirement to use the teleporters, and you could bounce from multiple areas throughout the Fane if you had that.
Right.
Like you could have. There was the treasury that you guys didn't get to go into, the armory rather, which had like a one weird thing in it. Is a shield, and that words spoken by the shield's bearer are amplified and sound 10 times louder than normal.
Yeah.
Just like a random little thing.
Nice.
But yeah, you guys kind of just ducked around that using stealth.
Yeah.
Although somebody did banish a snake and then immediately lose his invisibility.
It's alright. We worked around that.
Yeah, because I gave the Red Wizard extra spells to cast it from a distance again.
Yep.
Work around.
Sure.
Worked around.
And then basically after that... What?
You know.
Yeah. And then after that was the tomb.
Yeah. Oh, we got into the fight with the Red Wizards too.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the Red Wizards.
That was stressful.
It's a weird, it's a tenuous relationship, right? Because they want the ultimate goal.
Wait, we didn't fight them.
There was a mini fight with them, and then we stopped it, and then we went into there, and then outside of the actual tomb, who did we fight?
You fought all the Yuan team.
Yeah,
The Yuan
team.
team.
And that's where most of them died.
Most of the Red Wizards were on your
Oh, that's
side
During
in that
that,
scenario.
We did kill one of them at one point.
Yeah, but to be fair, he did start that.
He did.
Yeah.
And we killed him, and they were like, "Whoa, we can be friends, right?" I was like, "I guess."
Yeah,
No?
it's interesting. There's a couple, again, things that I would have changed is a little bit the way the interactions worked, or maybe I would have given them more puzzle cubes. Basically, one of my biggest complaints is that the DM's Guild Adept program was created more or less around Tomb of Annihilation. So when the book launched, they released several of these DM's Guild Adepts. A lot of them are Adventure League legal things that expand on Tomb of Annihilation. One of them, which I believe is called Cellar of Death, is one that I really wish I had read and had done ahead of time, because it's essentially a group project where you guys all work together and build an NPC that you guys know and adventure with and travel with, who dies at the end, and you find out that, like, oh shit, the death curse, they can't come back.
Right.
So you're invested in this character that you guys helped build,
Right.
that you want to stop their soul from being devoured, so you go to Chult, and that's
Okay.
like part of it. So that was an
Oh,
intro
cool.
adventure, but
Right.
that was released after we started playing, so it didn't help.
Yeah.
There was an entire thing for like an additional 50 encounters in Port Zaru
Oh,
that
wow.
they released. There was about another 25 to 50 encounters in the jungles of Chult. There's an entire document that is just extra dinosaurs, and then extra zombie versions of those dinosaurs.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That have additional options for that, because you didn't get to encounter the T-Rex that vomits zombies.
Yeah.
What?
It's a zombie T-Rex, and because it eats humans, it spits up other zombies.
That's so cool.
It was wild, yeah.
So there's other things like that, and
Yeah.
again, what's also cool, it didn't really impact this group, but all those are like technically Adventure League legal, but they're also options for your conjure animal spells, your animal companions,
Right.
your beast shaped forms as a druid,
Yeah.
all these additional things, which were added in after the fact. There's also, I think there was a couple other ones that added, that artist Simber's waiting for Mesirow to return.
Right.
Right, that's what his whole thing is. He's trying to find his lost wife,
Mhm.
and she was in the city of Mesirow, which disappeared off the face of Chult.
Right.
There's a whole thing called the Ruins of Mesirow, which is that it comes back,
Okay.
and that's designed for like 11 to 16 level characters. So
okay.
you could take the characters that possibly survive the tomb, and then like he'll come back and like, I need your help, and then you can go and do that. There's basically 3 Ruins series. There's like a Legend of a Lizard King. There's all these cool extra content that they added. There's one that is basically Predator, like you're in the jungle,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
And it's an invisible thing,
It's
like
a
a whole
stalker.
cool concept of all these extra things that I would have loved to add in, but because we started on early launch before the game came out, like the day the book dropped, all of those things hit the DM's Guild.
Right.
And that was like 3 weeks after, or 11 days after we had already started the game. So we were 24 hours into the stream and I couldn't go back.
Right. Yeah, we were pretty deep at that point.
So a lot of that stuff, which I again would highly recommend, you do have to pay for most of them, but I would highly recommend, if you're going to run it, look into those at the very least. You can spice up your encounters with a bunch of new stuff. Like those dinosaurs are absolutely things that I will incorporate in other games, because they put the time, and they're if they're Adventure League legal, they're as legal as they're going to get, right? Other than like a physical book. So anyway, that's some other stuff that would have liked to have incorporated that I didn't get a chance to.
Sure.
So now we're in the tomb. We made it to the Tomb of the Nine Gods. Thoughts, general high-level thoughts on the tomb, other than we said that it's long, and we know that it's long, but the game is basically build up to, let's see, it is 100. The tomb itself is about 70, 60, 65 pages of the book is just the tomb. You're done with random encounters at this point.
Right.
There actually are some that I just sort of ignored. Like there's a lot of stuff with the tomb dwarves are supposed to be all over the place.
Okay.
Like when you guys are in they're supposed to be hanging from chains on the sea, like hooks in their back, when like in the room with all the gears.
Okay.
To like slide up and down to do maintenance on the stuff, and I was like, I don't feel like putting them. I don't care.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think about the tomb high level going into it?
The upper levels, yeah, I thought it was from the very beginning. We got fried.
Yeah.
We set off traps left and right.
Oh yeah.
You really did.
We're the best at setting off traps.
So it just immediately was like, oh man, we're gonna die, and we really almost died a lot. But I felt like we powered through as a group, and we came together, and just like when it really counted, we finally kept ourselves alive.
Yeah.
We solved a couple puzzles. We fumbled through a lot of them. And a couple we just straight avoided. We were like, we're just not going to deal with that. So I felt like it was a very good, like, actual representation of what people might do. Because, I mean, you look at some things in life and you're like, no, maybe I'm just going to not deal with that at all.
Hard no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
then you just walk
not
away.
going there.
And I feel like that's one of the cool things that the tomb let you do,
Yeah, like you didn't have to do every single thing. It was there if you wanted to.
And
you could
we
just
usually
sit
did.
down.
Yeah.
And we usually did, and we usually,
There was no.
spent 2 hours trying not to die.
Yeah, we're
Because of poor
okay,
decisions.
Yeah.
We were good at that.
Really like the whole thing with the spirits of the
Okay,
trickster
I was going to
gods.
ask about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the
I
trickster
really
god
liked
spirits?
it.
I felt it like it spiced up our game a lot. I felt
Yes.
like we made the game more difficult by playing them correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So something I learned about myself in this is that I like a nice balance of RP and combat and like dungeon crawls. So for my taste, the dungeon was too long, but again, that's just personal preference. But I do feel like the trickster gods added an RP element, whereas
Definitely.
without them, it's just 60 pages of no RP at all, and that's half the fun of the game for me.
Yeah.
I will also say that you guys definitely took it to a level that you didn't have to take.
No,
Yeah.
we took it to a level
Where's
we
the
got
fun
to
in-
take it to.
And
So,
not being
role
there.
playing the spirits. Trickster God can inhabit the host, their senses and their mind. The character retains their alignment and can think independently. However, the character has a flaw that runs counter to the Trickster God's flaw. The character's flaw is suppressed until the Trickster God leaves. You can roleplay the voices of the Trickster Gods in the characters' heads, but let the characters roleplay their inherited flaws. If a player neglects to roleplay a Trickster God's flaw, have the inhabiting spirit attempt to goad them into behaving more like it. You can award inspiration to a player who roleplays their Trickster God well. All of them are eager to get their revenge on Acererak. They can only offer limited guidance regarding the tomb and its denizens, but they encourage the characters to seek out other Trickster God spirits and offer supernatural assistance. Each Trickster God, except for Unk, has its own rival that it would prefer to avoid. The Omuans dreamed up colorful stories to explain these differences, but in truth, the spirits simply represent conflicting points on the alignment axis. When rival spirits occupy different characters in the same group, they try to make their hosts bicker and defy each other whenever possible.
We did that.
I'm just saying, like, that's
We bickered a lot.
that's like how it's written. You guys took it to
Like
Fun,
going
new
into
levels.
the tomb, all of our characters were like friends.
Yeah.
And the further down we got, the more and more we disliked each other.
Mm-hmm.
We were pretty conflicted on our.
Yeah, a
On
lot
what
of
we wanted to
choices.
Which was fun.
It was.
It was. That was cool.
It made things
There were
interesting.
points where I was like, I think Sean's actually mad at me.
There was. It was
I'm
hard
pretty
to
sure
tell
he's
sometimes.
not, but like a little bit.
It was hard to tell sometimes.
I could possibly be mad at you, but I have not been mad at you yet, Jake.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
I was gonna say I could never be mad at you, but you're really talented and charismatic and good looking. So I feel like if you put your mind to it, I'd be mad.
Yeah, like if I wanted to make
Yeah.
you mad, then I guess
I didn't want to take that away from you.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
no problem. But I have yet to be mad at you.
Yeah.
At all.
Okay. Feelings mutual.
So what did you guys think about, or I guess, how about this? Favorite part, Sean, favorite part of the tomb? The final tomb. What was your favorite part of that? Or if you guys have one that you want to throw out.
I like the struggle through the wine room.
I did not like that.
I know, but it was so hard, and it was just like a stupid mistake,
It got real close.
and
It
it
got
was just
so
like
close.
that was like the closest we came to dying in a trap.
Fair.
True.
And it was like that was like, oh no, I felt very on the edge almost immediately, and the tension kept through that whole scenario.
Mm.
You know, from like you guys talking to each other underwater and like losing your breath, and, you know, the thing filling up, Shovel Knight can't move, like it was tense.
Fair.
It was.
And I couldn't do anything. I was completely dependent on you guys figuring it out, because like, it's a strength check and it's at least a 20, and I was like, well, I'm out.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I had a lot of fun with that.
Okay, very nice. What about you guys? Favorite part of the tomb? Did you have a favorite part?
I don't think I did. I mean,
Did any parts stand out that you enjoyed more, or that you thought was cool?
As far as my character goes and what I as a player had fun doing was, again, the room with the water creature, just because I got to be a dick. And that was a lot of fun.
Okay.
No, guys, we should just go in the water.
Come on,
Fine.
come hang out in the
It's
water.
great. It's so nice in there.
you know what? In the elemental puzzle where
Yeah,
we got
that
into the
that was
room.
my
Oh,
second
that was a good
That
one.
was
The
my second
puzzle, the puzzle itself, I thought was really cool. I had to like breathe air from bird bones. Like, that's not obvious. That's a great puzzle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Least favorite part of the tomb, aside from like we're talking specific like encounter thing, not like it was long.
Couldn't go.
I hate the goo.
That didn't get to go. That's Pat's
the
least
gray
favorite part.
goo.
The psychic goo?
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can like get around
Avoid
it.
it.
So
It's
you
like
it's just there to give you
Bland
damage.
damage.
It
Yeah.
might, you know, the way it's written, it seems like whenever you pass through it, you take the damage. Now, maybe if you jumped over it, it would have been fine.
And also-
But it's psychic damage,
But
so
like,
I
so
imagine,
like, even if you're like in it, just around it, you said we take stuff. So like,
that's what it says. I mean, maybe it could be interpreted differently that, like, if you jump through it, but it's psychic damage, right? So,
Yeah.
like, you're in the presence of this psychic aboleth goo.
exactly.
I feel like it should just impact you no matter what. Plus, it is just a way to attritionally knock you guys down hit points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have been dealt with better. I also did not like the one puzzle with the 3 undead that were, you had to pull in the chain and you had to shine light on them.
No, you
That
had to
didn't-
turn undead.
Yeah, you had to use turn undead, but like the puzzle said shine light on them because they
Yeah.
hate the light. And
Oh,
that,
the
like,
one with.
that didn't
Which one
work.
was that?
It was like
Yeah.
on the second
No,
floor.
Ted let it work.
Yeah,
when I cast
but-
daylight.
But it
It-
didn't work in the book, and
Yeah.
that's what I didn't like about it.
Did,
Like,
That's
it
fair.
didn't. Like
like a lot of everything else made
everything,
sense.
all of the clues made sense, and in that one, it just was blatant. Just
Oh,
like,
Also-
you mean the one where you mean the...
Whatever fear of the light or whatever.
yeah, like whatever the
It was-
inscription
I
was
think it was
had
on the
nothing to
second
do with the
floor.
puzzle.
I don't like the fact that if you're not this one character class or this one type of paladin, you can't solve that puzzle the way it's written.
Yeah.
Like you have to turn undead or turn the
Right.
unholy
Uh,
in order to get the zombos to run away to open the door.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that it was class dependent.
bow
I
as a
agree.
dead god in tone into the darkness descend. Walk through water with weapon in hand.
Before that, like higher level.
So
one.
the first level. The enemies
second
opposed
level?
one, stand between them in darkness it hides, down the mask be seen, speak no truth to the doomed child.
No.
The keys turn on the inside only. During his path to another tomb. Oh, the dead abhor sunlight.
Yeah.
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 And like that was there, and it just didn't make any sense.
But I appreciated that you let us do an interpretation that did make sense and made
Yeah,
it
like
work.
we
Yeah.
Since no one in our party could have solved that puzzle and gotten to that trickster guy.
we came up
Yeah.
with a sensible answer, and it worked.
You mean to the zombie door?
Yes.
Right, yeah. Gnashing heads belong to 3 zombies. Zombies won't move while fresh meat attempts them from the balcony in the hallway. The door weighs 1,000 pounds.
So I mean, you guys could have just pushed it.
Yeah, we might have.
Characters with a combined strength score of 33 can lift the door.
Yeah, we could have just opened it.
The zombies
whatever.
attack any creatures they can reach. Withers and his tomb dwarves replace destroyed zombies within 24 hours. The pulley is set up such a way that all 3 zombies move away from the door. They heave it open. Zombies won't move. Yeah, it's in a pulley belted to the ceiling. So yeah, if they were to go away, you could do that. You could have also, I mean, potentially telekinesis spell or some sort of shoving based spell potentially would have worked as well.
But it was too class dependent for my taste.
Yeah.
Like the way our party was made up, we couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Except for pushing it open.
Yeah. hindsight.
But that's still kind of like a lame.
Actually,
solution.
At
Well,
one
no,
point,
you
and I
could have got
uploaded
in
your-
there had you gone through the right way out of the
Other secret.
wine,
Oh.
and then went into Nang Nang's. There was a secret door that leads you through
Okay.
into that from the other side. But you
Okay.
were like, "Fuck that! We're not going over there. We're done."
Fair.
That's true. You
All
said
right.
that.
It's true.
I did say that.
Because the only two ways in there were through the zombie door or through the other secret door, the connecting path, which is you didn't ever encounter the genie, which was in the hallway between Nang Nang's shrine,
Oh.
and that shrine was the genie that
That's
you
okay.
just didn't deal with.
That's probably better.
I mean,
Yeah.
The gears were also confusing.
The gears were, in my mind, poorly written, so I will blame mostly that.
Okay.
Yeah, the stopper contains a Tao named Keshma al-Wazir, who trapped centuries ago by a Sarak. If the bottle is broken or unplugged, the Tao emerges in a whirlwind of sand. She fulfills whatever promise she made to the characters in exchange for her freedom and casts plane shift in an effort to return to the elemental plane of Earth.
Makes sense.
doesn't that not work?
Yep. Yeah, she gets teleported to the shitty room.
Sucks to be her.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. You guys didn't deal with Nang Nang's, which was, let's see, a bunch of grung lift
Slod.
Yeah, you guys never found the slod is in there because that gray gem that you found in Wither's office is the control gem for that slod. So had you found that slot and had that gem in hand, you could make the slot do whatever you wanted. So you would have had a gray slot on your team.
Hey, Slod, go trigger that trap.
And I would have to listen.
Like a death slot?
No, a gray slot.
Oh.
Different. Lesser than a death slot, but almost up there. I think it's like red, blue, green, gray, death. But yeah, you had his control gem. It's just in your bag of holding.
Yeah.
There, Nang Nang's had auto irresistible dance. Let's see. The lid of the sarcophagus can be lifted and pushed aside. Within it is a varnished clay urn containing the bones of a grung. The first creature to touch the urn or disturb its contents must make a DC 21 Wisdom save or be affected by Otto's irresistible dance. Until the effect ends, the creature also takes 2d10 psychic damage. At the end of each of its turns, as discordant percussive music overwhelms its mind. Any creature under the effect of the Mind Blank spell or similar magic doesn't hear the music or suffer the psychic damage. A successful spell magic dismisses the effect on a turn, allowing it to be touched, or on the urn, allowing it to be touched. And there was a potion of poison, a potion of supreme healing, and the pearl of power.
Nice.
Cool. Alright, what else do we have in the tomb? What did you guys think about the skeleton keys? It would have been interesting if you had not
Found them as we went.
or dealt with them at all, because you found one after you guys went around to the fake
Yeah.
tomb,
Yeah.
and then it just disappears when you leave. So it would have been very interesting to get all the way to where you were, and then
Without
be like,
them.
oh shit.
Are you bugging
Then you gotta go all the way back up to the top and
Mhm.
find each of these skeletons and take their skulls on the way down.
Yeah, that would have been brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was definitely like a cool little solution to like kind of like bring the whole dungeon together.
Fair.
And I felt like it gave you like lots of opportunities. Like these things came at you at a couple points in time, and
Yeah.
like they were noticeably different from each other, and it just like, and its head tumbles away, and it's got a big,
Thing in it.
if you didn't think to maybe take it with you, then you're kind of a knucklehead.
What did you guys think about the beholder?
Hard fight.
Yeah.
Hard fight.
And
The sphere made it
Oh, that
even
was
more
the
difficult.
room?
Yeah.
Slippery floor or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was a very deadly encounter.
yeah.
That was
And
a tough one.
And at least
We
from
got
my
lucky.
experience,
One wonder.
I thought it was really cool that you're collecting eyeballs. So if you think about it, like, it makes sense that would open a room to a beholder, but I didn't think about it until, like,
It
I was
happened.
just like, shit, I should have known. And
Yeah, I was
think-
watching you guys, and I was like, did they not figure
Nope.
out
Nope,
this is
didn't
nope.
put two and two together.
These are crystal
So-
eyeballs.
Yeah.
There's 10 of them.
So-
Listen, this whole game has you collecting things,
Yeah.
so of course we were gonna collect them.
Yeah. So I thought that was a really cool, like,
It's a mindfuck.
That's
it makes
actually-
you
yeah.
think that you need them,
mhm.
and it's like,
Nah, these were
Nah.
just extra.
this is just...
You could have just not went in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and the chat were like, do they really not get it?
Nope.
And I was like, I don't think they get it.
We don't get it.
We
We
don't
didn't
get
get
it.
it. Because it was
Did
just
you
like...
get it, Jake?
You know, I don't remember, so I'm gonna say yes.
All right.
Yourself with it.
Well, if Jake got it, he at no point was like,
Oh,
hey guys, this might be to a beholder.
Which was a more than reasonable thing to just throw out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Like,
maybe I
even
was-
If you did know it was a beholder, you might probably still would have done it thinking we needed to go do
That's
it
fair.
that's true.
to continue in the tomb.
Yeah.
Like,
But no, I thought that was cool.
yeah.
I liked it better because I didn't die.
Yes.
Yes.
But I still would have thought it was cool if I died.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't believe, if I recall, you had literally no reason to go in there.
No.
Nope.
We found
Treasure.
we found eyeballs. The
That was
crystal
our reason to
eyeballs,
go in there.
And then we were like, we found that door.
No, but I'm saying as far as the game goes,
Yeah,
you
you
could have
just-
just
No,
done
you
it.
could've just not done it.
Not done it.
Yeah, that's just like one of the things that you guys could have just completely bypassed that whole level and just kept going down.
Yep.
But you chose to.
We didn't know.
Get it done.
No, you didn't. And there was
That's an experience.
that had the cool room with like the boar head that would eat you.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. You guys hated those gargoyles on those posts. You're like, we gotta
Save those
Did
for
not
last.
like
we gotta
those.
save those
Yeah.
Kept
gargoyles.
avoiding them.
Can't figure out what's going on. And it's just like put some coins in and you can use the elevator.
Nah, we killed him though.
Oh, you
Killed the
guys
shit out of
didn't kill the artists.
No, we just hard no on that round.
Hard no.
Yeah, we thought that that was a bad idea, and that if they were just gonna talk about how cool we were, paint about how cool we were,
I'm down with that.
we'd just leave it.
So here's one of the wonkiest things. Instead of my computer, or is that upstairs?
Sounds like
Upstairs.
Is it?
What?
I think so.
What noise?
the one that's going.
Might be back.
Yeah, definitely upstairs.
Okay, cool. Just checking. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
It's working hard.
Yeah, for real. I was like, it shouldn't be. So there's a part that makes no sense because you never encounter it otherwise. So the undead artists have the statistics of a zombie. So dark vision, they have blind sight. If you destroy any of the artists, a T-Rex zombie erupts out of the floor and attacks you.
Oh.
It's not on the level below you though.
It's just in the floor.
It's just in the floor in case you attack one of the artists. It comes out and attacks you. Bursts up, leaving a cat. But the thing is, if it bursts up through the floor, it leaves a hole into the area below.
Huh.
Bursts up from the cavity beneath the floor and attacks, leaving a 20-foot diameter hole and shattered floor tiles beneath. While it's too big to squeeze down any 5-foot corridors, it can easily traverse the wider passageways to the east.
Huh.
So, like, that's just a thing that you guys just didn't encounter.
Yeah.
But, like, it leaves a hole through the floor, so you could skip through part.
The next
If
level.
you jump in, I think if you jump down, that takes you to basically into like one of the gears.
Huh.
Like the gear that just had like nothing in it with like the acid, like it would drop down into that floor. But like you just didn't deal with it.
To be fair, I think that was a good decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
I second
I
that
agree.
decision.
Oh, the throne. There was the throne there with the adamantine scepters.
Mhm.
One of those scepters destroys immediately the stone juggernaut if you just
Yeah,
touch
you
it to
were
it, so
saying.
you could just get rid of that completely. There was the necklace of fireballs you guys didn't put up that as soon as you put on immediately detonates all of them
Good move not to do that.
with
Yeah.
8 beads, so that is 16
D6?
well, it's 8d6 and then 1d6 per extra bead.
Okay. So 15.
15d6, which is a 9th level fireball
That's wild.
that just detonates on you the second you put it on.
Sorry about best use of that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Identify spell will reveal that there is a curse on it, though.
Oh.
It does say that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, it is 16d6. DC 15 or take 56 points of fire damage. 20-foot radius sphere.
Yeah, I'll put them down.
You didn't deal with the kind of like the new princess of Omu, but there's like a whole thing because the one shrine with the around there was
To
her
wake
was
her
the
up,
queen.
yeah.
So that
yeah,
was
we never
something.
did that.
You guys freaked out about the granite ball on the wall that just like rolls by in that one room. Then you guys fought 48 things by yourself.
Yeah!
Without me.
Only killed
mean, like,
2
And
NPCs. But I got
As much as
sweet
that
armor
sucks.
that I can never take off.
That's
I was
true.
gonna say, that was actually kind of fun.
You got teleported into the maze.
I like that. That was a cool thing.
With an engine?
No, different thing.
Oh.
But it made me immune to bludgeoning.
No. Slashing and piercing.
Yeah, all
Yeah, slashing and
non-magical
piercing.
piercing and slashing damage.
And
really nice.
but vulnerable to bludgeoning damage.
Mm.
So at one point, a character we were fighting an enemy, and it rolled, and it would have cut off my head, but I was immune to slashing damage, so it did.
Yeah,
not.
it just if it rolls a 20, it decapitates them instantly. No save, dead. Just like
So
the
that's it.
door that you didn't,
That
you
would
were
happen.
far enough away from.
Yeah.
And if you try to feed that door anything but phosphorescent crabs, it eats you and you die immediately. No save.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yep.
If you're within 10 feet, its tongue just eats you and you're dead forever.
Gross.
Gone.
Ah!
And Carrick's dead. So there we go.
There was a maze engine-like thing. We're gonna get there in a second.
Yeah, or as I say, we're right there on the Mechanist chain here in the 5th level on the Gears of Hate. That was an interesting. You had the Mastodon thing. You had the vortexes. Either way, if you fall into either of the vortexes, you also
If you fall up into the vortex,
you also die. Yeah.
Oh.
makes sense.
One thing that you guys didn't do that I was a little sort of upset about because it's cool is there's that one Modron in that like crystal decahedron.
Yeah.
It's crystal, and it's big enough so you could have, if you had access to Misty Step because you could see inside, you could Misty Step inside the thing, kill the Modron, and now you have like a crystal spaceship that you can just fly through the rest of the tomb with.
Oh,
that's
that's
super
pretty
cool.
cool.
That is pretty cool.
Or if you had a way to get it out of there and
Right.
get inside, but Misty Step would typically be the way because you can just teleport inside. And it had AC 16, 50 hit points, immunity to poison damage, resistance to piercing, slashing damage, vulnerability to bludgeoning and thunder. But it had a fly speed of 30 feet.
Oh, that's
You could
pretty
just
cool.
and I think you could fit 2 medium creatures in it, and it is completely sealed off. But if you want to, and if you're piloting it, you could have it like open a hole to attack out and then close the hole back up.
Nice.
But if it takes enough damage, it shatters like it did and then drops. But
Right.
you could have piloted that.
Yeah,
That's super cool.
that is super cool.
That was a neat little thing. You guys dealt with the armorly sphere there, the teleportation sphere.
Yep. That was the end of Carrick.
Yeah.
But it was a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you're messing with stuff like that, and they're like, roll percentile, you're like, well,
And you could have got a wish spell.
yeah,
Or a permanent increase to your intelligence.
would have been useful
If only.
if only. But
Uh,
I thought it was cool,
Mhm.
regardless.
Especially because at that point in the dungeon, we were already aware there were like 3 or 4 things on that level and the level above that were just instant kills.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was something in that room that would decapitate you on a natural 20. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
It wasn't like it was a unknown risk.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
What'd you guys shit, lost my train of thought.
Shit. What did I shit?
Yeah,
We thought it was shit.
Good poop.
yeah, that was also disappointing. No, I really just like totally blanked. What the hell was I thinking about?
I don't know.
We
Hags?
got lucky right
Yeah.
before we did the sphere there, not losing all of our items.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, the hallway that destroys anything that's not magic.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been a big pain in the butt,
Yes.
but we ended up dealing with that pretty
Yeah,
reasonably.
We got pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Overall.
For sure. I
Lucky a lot throughout this.
Yeah.
kind of wish I'd sent Carrick to the new campaign.
Ah,
Sort of wish I picked that. Instead, he killed Dalius.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
What?
know.
Yeah, he killed Dalius.
What?
In
He
an
got
alternate
teleported.
canon
He got teleported to the Underdark.
Uh-huh.
To
to
Menzo
Menzo
Berenstain.
Berenstain.
That's what happened. He rolled on the table and
And-
teleported there, and then he saw the creepy-looking tiefling with white eyes and no pupils. He's like, "Ah, shit!" He killed Dalius with his bow,
That's what character he shot things.
and then
He shot things real
he
good.
was so
Yeah.
good at it.
Droop was like, "Oh no, don't do! Oh no, he's dead."
And Kaj was like, I didn't
I have
learn
no
any
more-
resurrection spells. Because we had one scroll at one point.
Son of a...
So then Carrick,
Oh,
Ikaj,
Carrick
and
died.
Droop beat Demogorgon and saved the world.
Yep.
And Dalius died.
Carrick went back and got a cloak of displacement.
Yes. Yep. Good times. Well, I keep thinking about this. What do you guys think about the final the exit area, or the area right before with the hags before you went in through the skeleton door
With
Like,
the different
the little puzzles with the
Little
the
levers.
triangles and stuff like
That
that.
was really cool.
I thought
cool. I
that was
like that
I
part.
thought that was like I feel like you almost could have got rid of the entire level with the gears. And like, oh look, and then you throw in like that one last hallway there, and then oh look, it's the cool
Yeah.
chain for whatever, and then boom down the stairs, and there's the hags.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you know that would have worked fine.
That would have been fine.
I think if they were to have given you like a nice set of like printouts or cutouts that you could have done for the gears, rather than that, like if they were to give, and I had thought about trying to do something with like, like a push pin through like a paper plate, so you
Right.
could, like turn them. But had they given you something nice like that you could physically see, like,
Yeah.
oh, this is how it works,
Mm-hmm.
I think the gears would have been a lot better.
Maybe something a little bit
Maybe.
better than like, oh, this is one small picture to figure out how all these gears are supposed to align and work.
Yeah.
Right. I was not a particular fan of that, but the whole point of it, right, is to show that a Serac is multiverse, right? Like he has Modrons from Mechanus controlling part of the dungeon
Yeah.
to show that he's got, and that was also the area that had like all of the room with all the wardrobes. It
Yeah,
had
right.
all the fighting
Yeah.
of all the demons with the mastodon.
Yep.
And all that stuff to show that he's very far-reaching and has all of these
Yeah, a
abilities.
lot
I
of
think
power.
is what's it. You have the stone juggernaut, which is pointless because it's in like one room that you don't even really have to go in.
Yeah.
Which I feel like because they feel like they played it up a lot in a lot of the launch stuff, and it's like one room that you could just not go in. And then you're
Oh,
fine.
he goes straight forward and backwards.
Mhm.
Difficult enemy to defeat.
Don't we all?
Yeah, but we do other things too.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I tried to make the wardrobe room more fun fighting an orc war chief and 7 orcs, 2 Mezaloths, a monodrone, which you did end up kind of dealing with, a bone devil who just fights you, and 4 will-o'-the-wisps was what's supposed to come out of the wardrobes.
Okay.
Those are lame.
They're very
Yeah.
lame.
I mean, the bone devil would have been a thing.
Yeah, but we had just fought all those devils,
That's true.
so it wouldn't have been like fun and unique by itself.
That's true.
Yeah, because you guys had just fought.
And it would have been the same thing. It's like, oh look, fight one thing.
Yeah,
Now fight
4
another.
spine
Okay.
devils, 3
It
bearded
was the
devils,
same
2
concept.
barbed devils, 1 horned devil, and 1 Erinyes. You also could have bartered with the Erinyes, which is something you could have done.
Nope.
She would have just been like, "Oh, sorry." You're like, "How about
You go away and we don't fight.
a character who offers her soul to the Erinyes is destroyed by fire? Character's soul becomes trapped in the soul mog. If characters are willing to strike a bargain, she's willing to engage them, but demands a character's soul."
Yeah.
Yeah, hard no,
Yeah.
hard pass.
Also, I didn't like that you could have walked through the hallway where stuff disintegrates and just gone downstairs.
Yep.
Like, you didn't have to deal with the Mechanist chain or any of that. Like, it's just like...
You see a swirling vortex ahead of you.
But you can just take a left,
Take a left.
Yeah, take a left.
and just avoid that. And I was like, this is too cool, and they put all this effort into it. Why would you not make it part
Of the
of the encounter?
At least check it out, right?
Right. Because, like I said, you could have just been like, cool, we go downstairs, and then you avoid that entirely.
Yeah.
Which I feel like, again, why spend the effort and the time to design all of that and just be like, fuck it.
If they don't want it, they don't want it.
You know, and there's
Also, I feel like if you're like from a Sarac's point of view, that sounds like something that would be fun for him to make.
you
people
have to
his
deal
own
with.
have
Right,
to do.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. That's also very true. Because, like, the armor release sphere where you're just like, oh, cool, I got teleported out, or I got a magic item.
Or I'm not so dumb no more.
Super smart instead. I'm rather intelligent.
Yes, quite.
That wouldn't have been fun if
No.
Bill was super smart all of a sudden.
I mean, it would have been fun for me just roleplay wise for 2 games.
Yeah.
From being that guy who's like, I don't know, man, maybe we should hit that thing. Being like, hi.
We should definitely hit that thing.
Yes, quite. I think a swift strike upon this enemy would be beneficial for all parties involved.
Yes, quite.
I hit it.
You did it.
I got hit by something and it permanently reduced my intelligence score by 1 to bring it to a 7. So I had a -2 intelligence score.
Dumb.
I was dumb as rocks.
I think you guys, you talked about how.
Pretty smart.
I'm sorry, I was as dumb as a
Vibrate
box
frequencies and-
of rocks with all the smart rocks taken out.
I don't think you guys
Pretty dumb.
really.
Those are minerals.
Pretty dumb.
Yeah, the magical feast thing you guys didn't eat. Oh, what did you guys think of the mirror of life trapping with all the stuff inside? it?
Oh, with all those other people inside of it?
Yeah.
I thought
That
that,
was
was
cool.
really cool.
I liked it.
That,
I mean, like, it would
yeah.
have sucked if, like,
You
people
were stuck?
couldn't. Yeah, if I was stuck in there. But, like, when everybody got out, like, that was a fun
Yeah.
encounter.
Yeah,
With
me
all the
and-
random things
Yeah.
happening at once.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good way to add in because this dungeon is so deadly. You need to be able to
Yeah,
bring
NPCs.
PCs back.
Yeah.
They say that you could use like the clone, but I like the clone being like a degenerate, weak clone better than like it just being a legitimate
Yeah.
clone.
Well, I guess part of it depends on like when that character died.
Yeah.
Like if that character was like, oh, everybody really liked that person and they died, and then, 6 weeks later you're like, oh wow, it's you again. But it was like Carrick, oh no, he
Yeah.
disappeared, and then it's like, oh look, hey Carrick.
Well, I thought it could have been
Hey, new
it could have been anybody, but like I was like, oh, it's fun if it's Carrick because he just disappeared.
Yeah.
But it could have been like I was like, oh, it could have been one of Pat's characters. It could have been. That's why I asked about Gronk because I thought about putting Gronk in there.
Yeah.
But I was like, that only affects Carrick, and Carrick's gone.
Yeah, that's true.
So it has zero effect on anybody.
My favorite part of that is like, but Gronk was a battle master, right? Idealistically, he was level 1. So
Yeah,
he
that's
was
true.
he was
He was
a
a fighter.
guy. A good guy.
He was definitely, he had an ability.
He had the one.
Yes, so he's more than just a guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's a guy with a
He was less of a fighter than Mushi, who was the not fighter option.
That's true.
Yeah. The dust method didn't get to make anybody 50% heavier, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. Just make you guys like fat. Not really, just heavier. Just denser, I guess.
Yeah. I can't swim no more.
What do you guys think of the hags?
That was cool.
The hags were cool.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
But,
A lot of
hags.
interaction with hags, actually. 'Cause you had a
Yeah.
hag on the level above
Mhm.
who, like, totally tricked Carrick. She's like, I want to take some of your skin. You're like, you can have that back. And she's like, all right, you can have this back, but I still get whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
Hair.
Hair. Ugh. Hags.
Yeah.
Gross.
Gross.
All right.
Dangerous.
It's very fiends.
Fiends, man.
Oh, even the ones that aren't fiends are dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
That's true. Green hags. can
Bella
mess you.
Lugosi was dangerous.
Yeah.
And she was
She
a
was-
humanoid.
She was her own kind of special thing.
Yeah.
So, also I want to say kudos for figuring out the nursery rhyme
Oh, yeah.
trap. I mean, after you triggered it, but
Sure, second time.
the second time Sean had figured it out, reading it
Yeah.
backwards.
That was good.
All right, so Atropal scenario. You guys get through the door. This guy's waiting for you.
I did not expect it to look like that.
No.
Well, it's supposed to look
Yeah.
like that.
Very
And that's super
Metroid Dead Space
Yeah.
Oh.
combo thing
I
going
mean,
on.
you did
Well,
pretty
like
well.
that's
pretty close
that
to it.
is that one, but then the one in the creature section is that one.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
gross.
a little more close to what you got here.
Yeah, I sort of tried to do an in
That's
between
awesome.
Yeah.
combo.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the fight with the Atropal?
I thought it was cool bringing down the who
Sure.
who would possibly design like, oh, this is my god baby, I'm gonna put it over lava.
Yeah.
You know, just in case.
Just yeah, what, in case he decided he needed to sink it, or
I don't know.
not being able to turn the damn wall into mud was a big damper.
Yeah, I know.
I felt
there's-
like that was such a cool
That was
solution.
a-
But
good
had you
plan.
been that character from the beginning,
You
we
would've
would have known not to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe at that point.
yeah, you can't alter.
The tomb.
You can't alter the tomb. You could have if you had stuff like done stuff with the lava,
Yeah.
raise the lava up, or
I
stone
didn't
shape
have it. Yeah.
stone shape the lava, or something to that nature. But the walls in and of itself are intransmutable.
Yeah.
So I think it pretty much did everything that it could do. Just to give you guys some heads up on some stats on the Atropal, right? It did have an AC of 7.
Huh.
It
Sharp
did-
shooter.
It had 225 HP.
Is it
but
undead?
It is undead.
Ah,
It was vulnerable to radiant damage.
Okay.
It had advantage on saving throws against magic. If the umbilical was working, any creature that was within 30 feet of it takes 10 necrotic damage and can't heal every turn. It did have turning resistance. It could summon. I chose not to do it as an action. It could summon wraiths.
Ooh.
And that was like a
that
recharge
was
on a
its
6. That was its
action.
whole action.
okay.
Life Drain was choose a target within 120 feet, DC 19 con save, or take 8d8 necrotic damage,
Ooh.
and it heals that,
Nice.
or half of that. Ray of Cold was a 66, 120 foot beam attack.
Okay.
I had 3 legendary actions, Touch Tech, the Cold Ray, or 3, which is all of its actions, to do the Whale, which was DC 19 con save to everything within 120 feet, otherwise they take a level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
Which
But
was,
we all passed that, right?
no, they both failed.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
right.
But that was only ability checks.
Oh,
You
so
passed,
yeah.
which would have sucked if it would have been great, because then your counter spell would have been at disadvantage.
Yeah. Lucked out there.
And then it had the 4 tentacles that attacked you. The tentacles did 48 plus 6 damage. They had a plus 7 to hit, and they had a strength score of 22. They were 30 feet long, so they were able. That's how they were able to just grab Murray and just drop Murray in the lava.
Yeah. Bye, Murray.
It also was only supposed to be
Murray.
once per turn they can attack, but there were 4 tentacles. So I figured like
Each one gets an attack.
each one could attack, and it
Makes
only
sense.
attacked you if you made a successful attack against the Soulmonger or the Struts.
Right.
So that was a thing. And then destroying it summons a Sararak,
Yeah.
as we mentioned. What do you think about the fight with a Sararak?
It was fun.
Yeah. It was tense.
Yeah.
It was just
I died.
being able to counterspell that first power kill.
Yeah.
And just being like,
Yeah.
you know, that was big. Otherwise, they would have been like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because everybody got the 50 temporary hit points every turn and 3d6 psychic damage on successful melee attacks. But, I mean, you guys could have beat him had you had a different setup going in. He's definitely, there's statistics here. A look of horror passes over the Lich's face as his body turns to dust. His tattered robes fall to the ground, as do his staff and talisman. And then he just reappears near his phylactery, which is nowhere near here. It's like millions of planes away.
Oh wow.
Some far-flung demi-plane.
That's where I'd hide my flag.
Yeah, it's a good place
Yeah, I
for
mean,
it.
if I was a lich, right, and I was that smart, I'd be like, oh, cool, look, nowhere near anybody. In fact, I created this own little plane just for me and then here it is.
Mhm.
And
it's
it
in this box.
basically says, like, yeah, he'll be pissed, but his greatest ally is time.
Ah,
So, like, 3 generations from now, that character, Sararak, might be like, hey, your great-great-grandfather was a dick. I'm going to torture the shit out of you.
you're
Oh.
dead.
Ah, that sucks for Murray.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 generations is like 60 years.
I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Sararak was, let's see, some stats on Sararak here.
Sararak was brutal.
Yeah.
As I said, unlimited 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level spells.
Oh.
2 8th and 2 9th level spells. DC was 23. 3 legendary resistance. Had 3 legendary actions.
What was his armor class?
21.
Yeah, pretty solid.
So you paralyzing touch, which is a lich ability, 3d6 cold damage, DC 20 con save, or be paralyzed for a minute. His staff. Just want to just open that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Staff was D8 plus 3d6 necrotic damage. He can invoke a curse from his staff, which is why I didn't do it, because it was his action. 60 feet from him, we got to make a DC 13 con save or be cursed. While cursed, you can't gain hit points, and you have vulnerability to necrotic damage.
But that's an action.
That is an action.
And
So
what was the DC?
23
Oh,
con, but still.
Still 23 anythings.
Mm-hmm. Brutal.
Well, all of his other saves were 23, and then he could, as a legendary action, cast any of his 1st, 2nd, or 3rd level spells, do a paralyzing touch or melee attack, do a frightening gaze, which he's not an idiot and he knows pretty much everything about you. So with Bill around, there's no reason to do that.
Yeah, but Bill wasn't around after the 3rd turn.
True, but he could do Disrupt Life, which was everything within 20 feet. It's got to make a DC 20 con save or take 42 necrotic damage. And had he comboed it with the staff, that's 84 necrotic damage.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
And he had spells like I said, my biggest complaint was most of his spells were 60-foot range, and he didn't have a flight-based ability. I mean, he could have used teleport or plane shift to move closer, but it seems like a waste of a 7th level slot to do so.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he had Blight. He could have cast Ice Storm, I guess, but that's kind of weaker.
Yeah.
He had Wall of Force, so I guess he could have made a floor, but the lava was as much a detriment to you guys as it was to him.
Right.
Chain Lightning, Circle of Death, which I guess he could have done. Disintegrate, Finger of Death, Plane Shift, Teleport, Maze, Mind Blank. He should have probably had Mind Blank up, but I don't really think that affected you guys too much. So. Power Word, Kill, and Time Stop.
He cast Maze on me.
And it was impossible.
And since even with being a paladin and getting a +4 to all my saves, it wasn't a save, it was a check.
It was a check.
I had disadvantage on all checks.
Yes.
And my intelligence mod was a -2. So I had to get a 23 with a -2. It's impossible.
Just a 20.
Still impossible.
It's still impossible.
Yeah.
But yeah, you
So,
could not get out of the maze.
It was just one spell, boop, and Bill's out.
Until concentration got dropped on it.
Which didn't.
No, that was the end of the fight. He left.
He left.
Yes, when he left this plane of existence, I came back. But it was a good move.
After Murray had
Real good move.
died from a power word
I was
kill.
dead.
Yeah. Did a good job, like, really kicking our asses.
Mm-hmm.
Shovel
Kind of
Knight.
like that first Strahd fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Shovel Knight and New Carrick were the only ones who survived.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Relinor,
Yeah.
the druid, or the drow.
Yeah. Because he stayed 65 feet away.
Yep.
Good move.
He had lightning
Good
bolt,
move.
which was enough to just piddly down him enough to get him below. I mean, like I said, you
The
guys were
threshold.
40 hit points, I think, off from killing him.
Huh.
And had you done something like Sickening Radiance, like you had planned
Right.
ahead of time, he would have been taking that damage every
whole
turn
time,
yeah.
because of the size of the spell.
Right.
And that was what's Sickening Radiance?
I
Would
think
say
it's like 40-10.
yeah, or something like that. And that could have been enough over 3 or 4 turns to take him out.
Sure.
I mean, he might have teleported earlier, but depending on how you stacked up things,
Right.
like had you counterspelled the maze,
Yeah.
or he could have been killed. Definitely could have been killed. And again, you guys were a 3-person party and an NPC. If you rolled into the tomb with 6 or 7 characters, which is
Yeah.
a thing that can happen,
Cool.
could have probably
Artist Simber in there, and then
Artist Simber or Dragon Bait.
yeah,
Because Dragon Bait is a Holy Avenger.
yeah,
So if you can get close enough, that's 5d10 or something like that against
some
him.
wild damage.
And then if he crits, you look at a
Holy
decent hit.
Avenger sound real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. I have been imagining.
I
Have
know.
you?
Since,
Theron almost
since
got-
July.
Theron almost got one.
Well, you can't just have it.
No,
You
I
gotta
get
earn
it.
it.
We haven't played enough.
Yeah,
It's not.
Theron was going to get one. It was going to be a great sword.
Yeah. Oh no.
To
Probably
make you
wouldn't have used it
make the decision what to do.
one-handed and shield.
But then again, at the
Sword
same
board.
point, even though your AC was a 29, you still got hit all the time. So
Was getting some adamantine though. That was in the works.
yes,
It was in the works. You had to work that out.
we had some people coming.
So
But that's still a hit, so it doesn't matter how high your AC is if you're getting hit by crits.
yeah, but I'm not getting crit by crits.
True,
I'm just
but
getting hit
that's
by
what
it.
I'm saying. Like, since you could take the hit to your AC for the greatsword, because it doesn't matter what your AC is, Ted's just going to crit you.
Yeah.
A couple other things before we bring this
True.
to a close on this part here. What do you guys think? I mean, the archaeologist, anthropologist background. I know different. I kind of like them.
Yeah, I think it's hard to play up a background too. You know, it's your background. It's not really like important to the story. There were a couple spots where I got to use it, and I thought that was cool.
I think it all depends on how you play up your character.
Yeah.
Depending. There's a big old section of random encounters. There's a bunch that you guys didn't get to. You did a couple of the caches. There was the treasure drops.
Yep.
Which one of those there was magic items in the treasure drops, like a horn of blasting and a wand of secrets.
Nice. And we found some dead adventurers.
The Dead Explorers
Mhm.
section here. What else we got? This is Omu encounters. All right, new magic items.
Yeah.
You didn't get the Amulet of the Black Skull.
No.
You didn't get Artist Simber stuff. What about the Ghost Lantern?
That was really cool.
I really liked it.
That was pretty
Thought it
good.
was
That was
dumb.
a good magic item.
Because you didn't have it.
I just wanted all of them. That's all.
What about the Mask of the Beast?
What? Oh, I thought that was really bad.
Dude, Peril and Port, that came
Yes,
in so handy.
When we played it in the Adventure League, it was great. And but every time I tried it, while we played here, it failed horribly.
Yeah. You got to ride a T-Rex because it worked in Peril and Port.
That's true. It worked. That worked great.
And you got the parrot.
And I got the parrot.
Barnacles.
Barnacles.
Yeah. I felt like Peril of the Port. It was like they were almost like, oh yeah, by the way, this useless item. Here you go. Here's 30 good spots to use it.
Fair.
And I did.
And what about Scorpion armor?
Ha! Almost killed you.
It's a really cool item. I like all the things it does, and I actually really like that it does all that poison damage. I think that's a cool like kind of trade off.
Yeah, it'd be great to be a UNT paladin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, oh, this is armor's.
Ooh, this is.
I mean, I
nice.
can't take it off, but like,
Yeah.
that wasn't bad.
No real
Refreshing
negative
little
effects.
burst of energy I just got.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else as far as because we're basically in the back. You guys didn't really deal too much with the Aldani, the lobster people.
No, not really.
Nobody
Bunch of
got.
jerks.
Nobody went and got an Almirage, a little bunny unicorn.
No,
You're so cute.
to be fair, I murdered one of those.
Yeah.
You did. I forgot.
Skinned it.
Took its horn.
The assassin vines, I think, fucked you guys up pretty
Yeah.
good.
We got-
66
They almost
poison.
killed. Who did they almost? All of us, I guess.
Let's see. Assassin vines were pretty good. You guys didn't really. You dealt with a Bodak, but they weren't really that cool. The thing. Chewingas.
Oh, the guys that steal your armor. Who are they?
The
The little
bears.
Ewok.
Drop
looking.
bears.
Oh,
Dropper.
yeah, we'll get there. The Eblis.
Dragon bait was great.
I don't think you guys actually ever fought an Eblis.
I don't think so.
You fought some fire newts.
Yeah.
You didn't fight a flail snail, did you?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Just
You fought a frog hemet.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that was fun.
You didn't really encounter any. Oh, Nanny Poo Poo had flying monkeys.
Yep.
Enough that could pick her up and carry her away.
Uh-huh.
You guys had. Did you guys fight a giant snapping turtle?
No?
Oh,
I
that
don't
was the
think
thing you
so.
could have encountered on the river. You fought some grung. You fought the 4-armed gorillas, I think.
Yeah.
Gorillians.
And those guys are pretty
Two
cool.
of
Pretty
those,
beefy.
You didn't really fight a Jakuli or a Commodon, I don't think.
We might have fought in a Jakuli.
Yeah, because we harvested its skin to make a
Oh,
cloak of
right.
invisibility later.
That's right. So, kobolds, the man traps.
Haha.
Didn't like them.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty good. Here's the Terrafolk. Here's Resnisi.
Yep,
Stegosaurus.
What's his starting health?
127. Reduced to 107. Subtract 1 for each day that passes. You guys basically, he had like one turn.
Yeah.
You guys basically took him out. Sioux monsters were the psychic baboon things that had the psychic mental attack.
Right.
You guys didn't really deal with any Vegapigmies or Triflower Fronds. There's Volo. Deal with Zendala. Or the Yellow Musk Creeper zombie plant things. Zorbos.
Zorbos. Those
You
guys
guys-
were jerks.
They were.
Yeah.
They were. I thought those things were cool because very much like what is it like the rust monster? Like
Mhm.
those things are like a perm. You run into one of those and like all of a sudden I am very my character sheet is in trouble.
Yeah.
It's at risk, and I think
They
that's
are
cool.
only a CR 1/2. They start with 10 AC, 27 hit points. They magically absorb the strength of their surroundings, adjusting their AC based on materials they're standing on. 15 for wood, 17 for earth or stone, 19 for metal. The Zorbo isn't in contact with any substance. Its AC is 10. And their destructive claws do 2d6 plus 1 damage with only a +3 to hit. But if the target is wearing armor, carrying a shield, or in possession of a magic item that improves its AC, must make a DC 11 Dex save. On a fail, one such item worn by the character magically deteriorates, taking a permanent cumulative -1 to the AC, and gives that to the Zorbo until the start of its next turn. Armor reduced to an AC of 10, or a shield or magic item that drops to 0 is instantly destroyed.
Yeah, I would not be happy if I had a ring of protection.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much it. You guys didn't really deal. Oh, and again, the Tortle package Also had turtle guides as well. You just didn't deal with.
Were they Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
There's just no. Actually, I think most of them were old.
Really old.
There was
Interesting turtles.
there was the one. There was the one chick who was a secret UNT who was a guide.
Yep.
Who was going to report on you the whole time to Nisi.
What a big jerk.
There's one that was secretly a were-tiger.
Ooh.
You guys would just like go to sleep and they'd be like, you'd wake up to like just everything around you like decimated and killed. She was the chick I think who wanted the Mask of the Beasts.
Ah.
She was a were-tiger.
Ha. What a loser.
All right.
Tomb of
That
Annihilation.
is Tomb of Annihilation. All right. Lastly, I guess anything that we haven't said so far, thoughts or things you guys want to comment about.
Final thoughts.
Yeah.
Conclusions.
I have some final thoughts. I like the campaign. It was really cool, but at least our playthrough, I felt like most of the scenarios that we got into, like combat-wise, were taken care of for us by NPCs. Like, we would have all died in that first battle if it wasn't, or that second battle with the things if it wasn't for Mushi. Once we met Artisimber and Dragonbait, we would have died in, like, every battle
fight.
if it wasn't for them. We would have died so many times if it wasn't for Shovel Knight. I just felt like we were the almost secondary characters of this campaign.
Yeah.
We were like the friends of
Yeah.
the main character.
So, like, I get why all that stuff happened, but it just kind of, like...
Well, Shovel Knight is not a part of the game.
Yes, I know. But
So
I'm just talking about, like, overall, the experience that we had playing it. I felt like we were the secondary characters and everyone else was way better.
I think splitting up Artisimber and Dragonbait is not a bad idea, but the way they're written, it seems like they'd go together.
Yeah.
Um,
And I also, like... So correct me if I'm wrong. Like, from level... Like, the whole time before you get to Omu, that's one rolling table for encounters.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that's dangerous.
it
Like,
was.
it killed us.
Well, it's broken up by region.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Never
It's
mind.
broken up by
I'll do that.
like, and actually, again, to put a pin in this whole campaign, man traps aren't technically things you can encounter on the river.
Yeah.
They're not water-based encounters. But I'd already rolled it, and I was like, they could be lily pads. This will be fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
not
it was
fine.
not fine. It was
Not
deadly
fine.
instead.
Yeah.
I really liked it a lot. I like
Well, I guess we should compare it to other pre-writtens too.
sure. As compared to Out of the Abyss,
Sure.
which is the only other one we've played to completion here.
Mhm.
I thought that Out of the Abyss was a little more arcing story that you were a part of, but you definitely felt more like the hero. And then this one was like, all right, you're struggling, now you're in the city, and like you're starting to get into your own, and now you're in the tomb, and then it's like you're just like, do I die here or do I die in the next place or the next place? And it felt like, what I can imagine trying to do that in real life would be like. It's like, and then you just mess up a lot in this, or we did anyway. And so that could be kind of disheartening, but I felt like kind of silly the way the final encounter was set up. The book was like, oh, there's a giant pit of lava because that's a cool thing, and then there's this guy hanging out over it, and then the big bad guy's gonna wait until you ruined his creation before he comes out to fight you, because that makes sense. He hasn't been working on this. He didn't design a way to steal every soul of every person who dies.
That is a good point.
And then he's like, nah, screw it. You guys, if that thing can't kill regular adventurers like you guys, then it doesn't deserve to, exist. But like he literally, I don't know, he brought those other hags in to help him create this thing, and like he spent all this time and resources. It seems like something like an investment he would want to protect more. And I feel like the final battle could have been cooler if there was a way that they were introduced together without him being so overpoweringly incredibly powerful.
It's sort of his thing, but yeah.
Yeah. But like a good way. I feel like if you fought both of them at the same time and they like gave each other bonuses, I felt like it could have been handled better. That's my biggest gripe with the whole thing, because I really liked the entire campaign, and then we got to the final fight and it was like, fight this guy, and then as soon as it felt very video gamey. It's like, oh, we
Yeah.
fought the boss, and then oh no, there was another boss.
That
You know,
was
it's
the
like, oh,
actual
here's the
boss.
second health bar, and it was just.
Yeah.
Aside from that, really liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you do bring up a good point. I mean, not that that would be a great fight for you guys. If he's like, hey, wow, you're hurting my thing.
Let me
Fuck
cut-
you
Power
guys.
kill.
Power word kill.
I mean, you could write it so his energy is being drained by trying to bring this Atropal to life.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not full strength Serac because he's using all of his magic to make a god baby happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still have them together
Yeah.
and have it be reasonable.
What was the god baby gonna do?
I don't know. What was the god baby gonna do?
It was gonna kill everything.
The god baby, he was trying to make a god. A new god of death. That was his whole goal, was he was going to feed this fetile thing that is alive but not alive. I'm trying to find the exact wording. But basically, he's going to feed this Atropal all of the souls of everything in the realms to create a new god of death. At which point he would have control over, basically, because he was like a father. He was going to have the whole world ruled by undead. So, on his journey through the cosmos, Serac stumbled upon an Atropal. He brought it to Toril, ensconced it in a cradle in his tomb, began feeding it necromantic energy, hoping to transform it into a deity, one able to claim dominion over death. Unleashed on Toril, the newborn god would glut itself on life until none but dead walked the world. In order to the Atropal, Serac needed an untold number of souls. The Archers made a bargain with the Sown sisters, a coven of night hags feared throughout the lower plains. Seduced by the prospect of a near endless supply of souls, the hags joined Serac in his tomb. With their assistance, the Archers crafted the Soulmonger, a necromantic device that would reap the souls of the dying from across Toril and feed them to the Atropal. Leaving the Sown sisters behind as nursemaids, Serac abandoned his tomb to watch the rise of the death god from afar. Because he just wants the world to be ruled by undead. So that was his whole plan. Shadzar, to your point, so are we saying Tomb of Annihilation is an attempt to recall adventures of old for 5e and just fails at every turn? Like a 5e version of Temple of Elemental Evil? No, the 5e version of Temple of Elemental Evil is Princes of the Apocalypse. This is more like a 5e attempt at Tomb of Horrors. Not to be confused with Tomb of Horrors for 5e, which is in Tales from the Yawning Portal. That is true. This is a spiritual successor to, I think it's like Curse of the Forgotten City, Fall of the Forgotten City, with a little bit of Tomb of Horrors sort of combined together to bring you what is Tomb of Annihilation Chult stuff.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it necessarily fails. And again, a lot of the stuff, because there's just so much in the tomb. Had I read some of it, I probably should have. We've confirmed that every character at this table should have died.
At
In one
least
form or another.
once.
Well, they would have died only once.
Yes.
Because of the way the game is written, that you can't come back.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot that like if your character dies, there's a table you roll on every day to see if their soul is consumed by the Soulmonger.
Nice.
Oh, God.
Because if their soul is consumed by the Soulmonger, then they cannot be resurrected after the Soulmonger is destroyed. Just didn't care enough about it to see like if Bill or see if Gronk. And Artie and Titus and Adric to see if any of them actually got their souls munched.
Probably some of them.
I'm going to say almost positively Gronk. And what was your first character's name?
Ardsgain.
Gain.
Artie.
Yeah, they're definitely like, it was 80 days or something like that.
What was the roll?
I think it's just like a D20.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. So it could be Gronk.
On any given day, secretly roll a D20. On a roll of 2 or higher, the soul remains trapped in the Soulmonger. A roll of 1 indicates that the soul is devoured by the Atropal. Creature whose soul is devoured in this horrific manner can't be returned to life by any means, including divine intervention.
Dang.
If the Soulmonger is destroyed and you haven't been tracking the status of a particular soul trapped, grab a handful of D20s, 1 die for each day the soul was trapped, roll them together. If you roll a 1 on any of the dice, the soul was devoured before it could be set free. Spells such as Commune and Divination can be determined whether a soul has been devoured. How many souls must the Atropal devour to become a deity? It could be thousands or millions. Ultimately, it's the DM's call, but the default assumption is that the apotheosis could take months or years. Here, let's grab some D20s. And we'll figure out this. We'll roll some stuff for Gronk. And then for... these new D20 orbs. We'll do just a quick roll for each of these guys.
Sean, 1 or 2?
2.
Ah, you're
Shit.
terrible at this.
I lose every day.
This is for Artie. We're just gonna say that this, whatever divination of these D20s, works out to be his entire time. I see 2 20s.
I see 2 20s.
I see 3 20s.
Oh,
Artie's soul was not devoured.
Oh, good for Artie.
all right, got released.
Gronk.
1.
Run.
1.
Gronk's gone.
That's a 1.
Yeah.
So, alright, Gronk's gone. What about
Oh,
What
Titus.
Titus?
Titus?
No, that's what.
No, that's a 4.
What's that one on the purple?
5. Alright, Titus survives, and Adric was only around for a day.
But what a day he had.
Dead.
Dead.
Alright.
Don't you?
Yeah.
You made it.
Every day he ate 5% of the souls that were available to him.
Gronk would have been, which actually isn't very many if you think about it.
No.
Everyone who died in the entire round. Gronk would have been so much fun.
Gronk would have been cool.
Yeah. Polearm Battlemaster, half orc.
That's alright.
Bill was fun.
Morg will be fun.
Morg will be so much fun. I'm
So-
so excited for Morg.
Okay, guys, so
And
we're going
for
to take
odds.
a short break here. Basically, what we're going to do is when we come back, we're probably going to play a D&D based board game. We're thinking Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. We'll talk about it. The only reason that I think we possibly might not is because we literally have to pop out all of the cardboard pieces and, like, get the game set up. Which is a thing we can do, and if not, we'll probably just do, if we're going to play a game that's not that, we'll probably just do Rock, Paper, Wizard, just super
yeah.
easy. So that's an option, but we also
Seems simple.
might just also chat with you guys a little bit about, we got 2 new campaigns starting
Ooh.
in 2 weeks,
Yeah,
so we may throw some stuff out and chat about that.
Introductions.
We could definitely do that as well.
that would be cool.
So we shall see. We'll see you guys back in just a little
Get
bit.
everybody talking about evil game characters.
Haha, evil campaign.
Oh, edgy Pat.
This should be your new
Yeah, look.
Instagram handle.
Edgy Pat.
There's my character sheet.
All right.
Alright, guys.